All right, so we're going to be talking about diminished value versus paintless dent repair and the advantages of paintless dent repair versus cutting off panels or filling it full of mud. Not that body shops don't have a place for it, but if it can be paintless dent repair, then it should be paintless dent repair as long as you got a qualified technician doing the work. So we're not putting on body shops at all. A lot of us work with body shops. My dad owns a body shop. Now, most of us have body shop backgrounds, so it's just a fact that sometimes if paintless dent repair is a better option. You don't lose the diminished value. Retain the factory finish. And how can we sell it to customers and even a body shop who wants to paint it? How do we convince them and the insurance companies that they should go paintless dent repair, even if it's a bad panel, it's off the matrix, or it's a huge smash? If it can be done perfectly, we should be able to get the numbers necessary, because even though the matrix might cap out on a panel at $400 and we tell them $700, you can't say we can paint it for $700 or even paint it for $400, because in reality, the diminished value that is there has to be considered in the repair also. So that's what we're going to talk about. We had a good conversation about a half hour ago, came up in a different blab, and we decided to start a new one. So we got Joe Thompson from Indent USA in Wisconsin. What part of Wisconsin you in, Joe?
The truck is a mess.
Appleton, Green Bay area. Appleton.
And Kevin Going from the Dent Company out of Florida. Who cares where? It's still Florida. Where are you in Florida?
I pay rent in a place that I haven't seen in 6 months.
Nice. Okay. And then Jesse Whitson up out of the Minnesota area, Minneapolis. So, and we're gonna switch off and on if other people want to join and talk. So Dent Magic Ohio said he does that all day long, and he owns a body shop, and he wants to come online. Sorry, I wasn't even seeing that, John. Does anybody want to take a break and let John Harley come in? I know he's working, so he won't be long.
I'll bounce out. I'm still working on that expedition roof, so I'll just keep watching.
All right, we'll keep bringing you back in, though. Thanks, Kevin. All right, I'm going to move Kevin. All right, John, you want to hit that camera button? There he is. Mr. John Hiley. Sometimes it takes a second for him to come on. It's loading up. But no, diminished value. You hear it talked about, but you don't hear it talked about enough. Do you guys sell it when you're out talking to adjusters or talking to customers?
I talk to my customers a lot. It's weird. You'll hear your customers say they've never even heard about it, or that they can get paid for it or reimbursed for it.
Right.
You get a brand new vehicle gets painted like that, and then they realize it's worth $1,500 to $2,500 to $300,000 less. And you tell them, they're pretty surprised.
Yeah. There's a company out there. I can't pronounce the guy's last name. It's Billy Walkovich or something. He's with Collision Consultants, and I see him in some of the body shop groups. And he actually deals with customers on an individual basis that have had their cars repaired at a body shop, and they take it to him for almost a reinspect. And what he does, he reinspects it. He gets down there, tears it apart, shows bad welds if they're there. If it's a good job, he'll tell them it's a good job. But if it's not a good job, he'll tell them that, and they can take it back to their insurance, or maybe he deals with them himself. And I've seen cars that he's pulled in his shop that to the naked eye looks like it was a good repair. He starts digging in and sees all the diminished value. Next thing you know, that nice looking vehicle's been totaled, and that customer gets a new car. So I know insurance companies recognize shoddy repairs, unsafe repairs. So I'm sure they also would recognize diminished value when you're dealing with it up front. So, and Joe, did you just share? Yeah, Joe Thompson just shared the two links to Collision Consultants, and that would be a pretty good guy to get involved in our industry. John's trying to join.
Yep.
I'm going to kick John and try to get him back in a second. John, try it again. But we were talking earlier about reinspects for hail damage. If you had a company in town that was set up just doing reinspections on paintless dent repair, and they advertised it correctly, they could make money however their business makes money. But it would also you would start seeing paintless dent repair companies being contacted by the insurance companies or the customer going back to them and say, hey, you know, I took my car for a re-inspect. You got all these holes drilled here. You've got broken paint up here. And either I want it done right, you got to cover it, or the insurance company can go after them. But at the end of the day, it could help weed out some of the bad repairs. Even if you're working in a body shop under their name, if that body shop sees these customers coming back over and over again, they're going to want to boot those guys out, and maybe they'll get smart and use a better technician at a fair percentage where it should be, instead of these inflated percentages. I think they're all connected. That's my opinion.
I got a question, Ryan. Could you do something through PDR Nation to get guys certified or qualified in their company to get like an inspection qualification?
I don't know.
The insurance company?
That's a good question. I think PDR Nation and a PDRT both could probably look at something like that. I don't know if it would be cost effective, if they would make any money off of it, but it would definitely be good for the industry. I don't know how you go about doing that. You would need somebody that would be unbiased. You know, you don't want Joe Thompson setting up retail on one corner, and then Joe's got to re-inspect down the road because people are gonna think he's biased. So John is really trying hard to get in here. John, if you're on your phone, I know you're more technologically advanced than I am, but if you go to a Wi-Fi signal, it's very important on this app. Cell service works, but Wi-Fi helps a ton. So, all right, John's trying. While John's trying here, does anybody else want to come on and talk for a minute about their thoughts on this? Keith Shapiro's in here. I'd like to see what he had to say about this. Mr. KHS. Yeah, you're on Chrome.
While we're waiting,
okay,
Ryan.
Yeah,
you're talking about selling the diminished value to customers and whatnot. I've actually had some good luck with that with a local body shop that's pretty close to my house here in Minneapolis, and it's pretty funny still how many body shop owners that have been in the business for years don't even know what we can do with PDR. And if you can sell it right, you can really you can help them to see that it benefits them for their customers, for you to even go on, even as far as like when they got to do a panel or a blend panel. That's what happened with me the other day. There was a crease all the way along the bottom of the door. Insurance had paid him to do the panel, but he was going to have to blend out the other door. He was backed up time-wise and everything, and so he had no idea we could even do anything like that. I was able to push it up, and he didn't even need to do anything on the door. Saved him money, saved him time, paid me right, and
yep.
And now he's pretty excited about the fact that that can always shave time off of his schedule. I think it's just a matter of selling it right.
It is. And the hard part is if you're trying to sell diminished value to a body shop saying your repair is going to be better than theirs, not necessarily better, but equal, but better as far as diminished value, repaint and all the time in the shop, etc.
Yeah.
But if you can, when you're telling them that, you're almost at the same time saying every other conventional repair that you do is not perfect, I guess you could say, you know. Yeah. But I mean, you got a deer hit, it is what it is. But I think if insurance companies had a standard diminished value number put on every accident, then it would remove that, and that would help educate them too. I know some companies do that, like with engines. I was working in a body shop last year, and they said the companies were paying diminished value when this car had a new motor put in it. So, but yeah, it's hard to sell it to a body shop unless there's, you know, it's just hard. But insurance companies and customers, I think you'll have better luck with.
Yeah.
So, so what'd you get for that door?
Oh, about $200, and it took me about 20 minutes to do.
That's not bad.
Oh.
But they were going to replace it or repair it conventionally?
Yep. Still saved him money, he said.
Yep. Ray Sapnew said, if you can clearly explain diminished value to your customers, it can be a very strong selling point. Absolutely. You know, there's so many things, all these tools out there now. It's just making me think that maybe we can make what's the word I'm looking, like not a file, but a document rather, that explains diminished value and share that with everybody. And if you got a bunch of companies out there with that and that PDR pages sheet, those are some nice educational materials if you're dealing with the customer. When you're handing them your estimate, you can hand them the file that says, here's not the PDR pages to them, but the diminished value. So when they take their estimate, if they're thinking about it, they can look at that and understand what the difference between conventional repair is if they're being steered towards a body shop versus you. Or even if you're in a body shop, they can look at that as long as the body shop's okay with you adding it in there. So educating the customers is huge.
I think with diminished value, it'd be good to educate even PDR techs. I didn't know that you could total out a car just on the diminished value with the insurance company after it's been repaired.
Well, I don't know that you can do it on all of them. It's probably the size of the damage.
Sure.
But if you look through the top here, Joe put a link up here to that guy's page. It does happen.
Yeah.
So they'll do it, and the insurance companies pay it, because now you've got a customer. There's the common denominator. The customer is involved, and they know this $40,000 Jeep that they have. They've seen the pictures that this guy's done close-up photos of, and now they're freaking out because their kids are right in the back seat. Now they're mad. You've got an angry customer going to the insurance company, or maybe not even angry, just a well-informed customer, and the insurance companies are doing what they feel is in the best interest of the customer at that point. So the same thing can be said for us, educating your customers. And if they're on your side, if they trust you and believe in you, then you're going to have a better chance of pushing the envelope on repairs that exceed the pricing matrix, or more than conventional repairs. There's DJ John. I don't know if diminished value is applicable in all 50 states or not.
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
Yep. Chris Norton said not in Mississippi, but I really don't know. That's a good question. I bet that guy would know. Man, you got Starbucks.
It's actually coffee from the Keurig. I've ran out of cups.
Wow.
I've been using this for like 2 days.
Nice. So, John, you mentioned earlier, well, first of all, is this the first time being on Blab?
It is. Yeah. I've been kind of, I'm kind of slow to, it is, man. It's cool. So I like the interface. It was a little clunky. Somehow I think I clicked the no box in Chrome when it asked to access my mic and my camera.
Okay.
So it just there was no reversing it. So I had to download Firefox, and now I'm here. So
it works on Firefox and Chrome.
Yeah. I was trying to connect with Safari earlier, and it just told me to go to Firefox or Chrome. But then I think Chrome has so many security settings that I clicked no when it asked to be able to access it. So that's cool, man.
Makes sense.
I like what you guys are doing here. It's a pretty neat platform.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see some Dent Trainer episodes up on here pretty soon with you and Mike.
It's interesting. We'll have something. We're going to be doing something new here pretty soon. So it's been taking all kinds of time for me to put this together. But you guys know I blew my knee out a couple weeks ago. And,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it kind of grounded me. But it's actually been a blessing. I've been doing this. I was getting ready to do a Periscope about blessings and a blessing and a curse. Is all the way that you look at the situation. So,
Yep.
Something bad can happen to you. And if you feel that it's bad and you let it take you down and you let it take out your motivation, then, it is a curse. But if you flip the script and you say, you know what, I kind of got put in this chair for a reason. I got put on my butt for a reason. And you start using that time to do things that you've been wanting to do. You'll find that you may gain more out of a bad situation than you would have if it never happened. So
Yeah, you focus on the positives.
Yeah.
I sent you a text the other day. I'm sure you remember. I'm doing this course online about building your brand and working on your self-awareness. And I was supposed to ask 10 people what my strengths were and what my weaknesses were.
Yeah.
And you were one of the guys I asked. And one of the things I got out of it was not so much focusing on your weaknesses and how you can fix them. Of course, you can try to fix them, but understanding that's the way it is. But once you understand them and they're not holding you back, focus on the positives in every situation and then use those to your advantage.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's not going to do you any good to dwell in your weakness, to sit there and just, it's like I tell guys,
my leg.
Let's look at this for a PDR technician. Yeah. Let's look at this for a PDR technician, right? So we got a guy who maybe is good. but he hasn't gotten much business. All right. So he's slow this time. Right. So he's out there. He's slow. Maybe he's a hail tech that converted into a route tech. All right. So this guy's slow. So what do you got to your advantage? You got to your advantage that you're slow. So what do? You form yourself up a 24-hour dent repair service. Boom. You're there in 24 hours. You run the ads. You hit them on Google. I mean, you take whatever your disadvantage is and you can actually reframe it to your advantage. Because there's a lot of people that would buy into that. I guarantee you there's a lot of people that would swoop cars away from me if they could get to them in 24 hours because I can't.
So your blown out knee got you here today.
Yeah, dude.
You've got time.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing what you guys come up with in the near future. Everything you and Mike do are pretty awesome with your dent trainer.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we do got a new podcast that's coming out here soon. So we'll be launching that sometime next week. That'll be cool. That'll be very, very neat. And we've been working on it. There's 4 of us that are on the podcast, and it's not like Dent Trainer was, how we had phone calls and everybody was overlapping and talking over each other and stuff like that. It's more formulated, it's more methodical, and it's really been thought out well. So it's going to be a real professional type thing. So
go ahead and give your website out. Might as well. You got about 50 people in here.
Yeah. The website, you can go to denttrainer.com. Check that out. We're going to have some other cool things on there as well. In fact, we're actually going to be launching some free webinars on there just to give people tours through the inner structure of the system. Because, we get a lot of people that go on there and they don't really know how robust. It's like anything on the internet. I mean, you get on there and you're like, are these guys do they really have what they say they have? Are they going to really deliver what they say they're going to deliver? Well, we're going to do a tour where people can actually get on there, go through the whole curriculum with us and ask questions. There's going to be a chat box, along the side to where it's going to be an engaging experience to really take people through the learning, inside a Dent Trainer and, what we have to offer.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, anything you and Mike do, you guys are 2 of the industry leaders, so 2 minds coming together like that is pretty awesome.
Look, man, I'm just out here.
Thanks, Joe, for sharing the link.
Hey, Ryan, let me just tell you something real quick. Here's where I came from, bro. I came from a long time of struggle in this industry. So, I mean, when I first got into this, I'd say I was the one who was the least one to be able to learn how to do this. I mean, there was plenty of times where I almost packed up and just gave up on this. And again, all the problems and all the, me basically not having good accounts and needing to go into car and credit accounts just to make money, and walking into them places and realizing they didn't want to fix little dings. Okay. So at the time it seemed like, oh, boo-hoo me, I got all these guys running around me that are making all this money all day long because they're taking out little dings at the dealers at the time. It was a big thing, at that time. Just a bunch of little dings and running cars through, and they were bragging about how much money they made. And I'm coming home looking like I've been through a war. Like I'm greased up from head to toe from crawling under these nasty cars and fixing these big old dents. Well, next thing you know, the tables started turning because, here I am walking into these car lots and I'm saying, your guy's not fixing that. Are you kidding? I've been doing this for years. I've been fixing these,
You've been working your ass off on the other stuff. And so
on the other stuff.
Take that.
So, the tables turned at one point. A lot of people don't know this. When I started in this business, man, I was only, I was living in a $365 a month apartment. So me, my wife, and my son, we were living $365 a month. I flew out to California, went to a mill school. The ones that people preach about not going to, and I could be on that end as well now. But see, that helps me because them are the kind of people that I try to help. You know what I mean? So I've been like, when somebody comes to me, they're not going to get this judgmental, polished guy who comes in and says, oh, I've been taught by this guy and that guy. No. You know what? I understand where when somebody comes to me for advanced training, I understand where they came from because I've been there.
Yep.
And I found that gives me an advantage in connecting with my students on that level, So
does Dent Trainer have anything? Do you have any educational forums on diminished value and how you can use that to make more money when you're selling? Because I know, didn't you say earlier that you actually sell that to your customers, educate them on that?
I do. So here's the thing we do in Dent Trainer. We talk about that a lot. So we do talk about that a lot. As far as forms go, I tell people like this. You need to explain to a customer that whenever, even when they go, if they even say that it's a trade-in, it's going to be a trade-in, that type of stuff. When they take that back to the car dealer is going to put an ETG gauge on it, and they're going to know that vehicle's been painted. I mean, it's going to hit them like that. And then you also got to explain that, people can go after their insurance companies for depreciation of value. So, I mean, that's the proof right there, is that you can get depreciated value. Go ahead.
Have you seen insurance companies? Have you had direct dealings with insurance companies in your shop? And I'm going to talk a hail claim or large door damage or large damage in general. Have you ever had a car come in where the damage exceeded either the matrix, whatever their pricing standards is, or even been higher than what conventional repair would cost, but you can fix it perfectly and you've gotten more money for those repairs or even the same amount and use diminished value as a tool for getting that?
Yeah, the best one that I've currently had, I mean, that happens all the time here, but it's normally with hail damaged vehicles. A lot of folks, when the bigger door dents, they're usually paying out of pocket here for whatever reason. But typically for hail damaged vehicles, we've had one specifically from USAA. It was a Honda roof, no sunroof. It was one of them little CRVs. The thing booked out at about $2,200, and of course we wrote it up to $2,800 because of the amount of damage that was on it.
Right.
And they came back and she approved it. She put it as a less invasive technique. And since then I'm like, oh well, I'm not supposed to start saying that. So I pushed that on to the adjusters, and while I'm discussing with the adjusters, if he says, well, no, I can't do this. What gets me is when they say they can't give me $750 because they can paint it for $800. I'm like, well, all right. I'm a body shop. Here's it's the really cool thing is they used to press that on me, and I'm like, well, I don't want to go to a body shop. I don't want to have to do that because I'm not, but I am a body shop. So I actually put the card back on their table. I said, go ahead and write it for paint. I don't care. I'm like, look, if I got to keep it here if I got to keep it here 5 or 6 extra days, if we got to paint it, I'm going to guarantee you we're going to get in some more supplements. This is not going to be the last time you're out here on this car. And I just start going on and on to that, and they finally look at me and they say, oh, you got me. I even had an adjuster one time. He was walking around. He was trying to pull that same thing. I got people around here. They'll get that. But, he was walking around here. He's trying to pull that same old, we're not going to paint it. We're not going to pay, I'd rather send it to paint because it's about the same cost and all this. And I said, well, we'll do the paint repair work. And he's like, you guys do paint repair work here? And I looked over at him and said, well, turn around. And he actually turned around and looked back, and our paint system is sitting right there behind him. And he's like, oh, well, you guys do paint repair. Oh, okay. Well, let's just talk about PDR. Let me look into this a little bit further, and this and that. And he came back and he had.
So they use it as a scare tactic sometimes
they do.
Too, knowing, regardless. So when you're negotiating with them, you need to understand that just because they're saying that doesn't mean that that's what they want to do. But it's just option. It's a selling tool for them, I guess.
Correct.
So when you're doing that, so let's use an example here. You got a roof for you wrote it's $2,200 to put a roof on it. Okay,
right.
That's everything. Paint, everything. Literal, a good written estimate, $2,200 for the roof. You've PDR'd the rest of the vehicle, and you've got $2,800 on that roof.
Right. So
you're $600 more expensive, and they really want to put a roof on it, and it's not a scare tactic. They want to put a roof on it. The conversation should at that point go to diminished value and time in the shop. How strong does diminished value hold up? Let's say they're not using body shop as a scare tactic, for example.
Right.
They're serious. How have you had those conversations, and what does the diminished value do to that conversation?
It depends the insurance company. That's all it depends on. I mean, if we're talking in my area, and I'm sure everybody, once you start dealing with your insurance companies in your area, you'll figure out the ones that really care about their customers, and then you'll figure out the ones that just care about their bottom line. So you have to determine that based on that insurance company, because we got a company here that I use to insure everything that I do here, and it's Cincinnati Insurance Company, and they would go for that, because they really care about their customer. That's why I'm a client of theirs. A lot of the smaller insurance companies. Go ahead.
Do you get the customers involved in a situation? like the scenario I just
It
gave
very
you?
well can. Yeah, very, very well can. You try to keep away from them situations, obviously, because you hate to call the customer
Right.
and have them, inconvenience them, stuff like that. Especially when you're,
And that's why I'm
especially when
asking.
you're
I know a lot of people
selling,
say to do it.
especially when one of my selling techniques is that, when I talk to the customer when they come in, I say, I'm going to handle it. You just give the keys to me. You got a claim number. I'm like, they tell you to go get 3 estimates. Don't. Just bring your car here, drop it off, and I'll get the ball rolling. And it works
Right.
every time, and I tell them they're not going to handle it. But in the case where somebody really gets screwy, then, you might have to pull out that stop. You always hate to. You try to do anything you can not to inconvenience your customer, because that's your customer. They're going to want to deal with you again. They don't want to deal with a guy who keeps calling them and telling them they're going to have to fight your battles for you.
That's a great point.
And, so.
Yeah, if you're telling them you're going to handle it, and then you're calling them going.
Especially if it's over a couple hundred.
Like, hey, I can't handle this.
If it's over a couple $100, man, you're better off. I mean, a couple $100 is not worth my time. It's not worth inconveniencing my customer. But if there has been a couple times where it came close, like I had a guy one time he came in here just last year, and we had a Ford Explorer roof that, we had it written up. We had a replacement cost of $2,700, and we had $1,700 written on it. And this guy was green. I mean, there was water dripping from the back of his ears when he walked in here. Right. I mean, he was just born yesterday. And so he's like looking over this car, and I'm like counting every dent. I got the chart out. We're counting the dents on the chart. I'm showing him the prices. Do you agree these are oversized? Do you agree this many's oversized? He's yes, I agree all that. And I'm like, well, that's why it's $1,700. He's like, I still can't see. I've never seen a $1,700 roof. And I'm like, dude, pay us to paint it.
For conventional?
I'm like, conventional was $2,700. We had the estimate right up. I said, we're painting it then. I said, if you don't want to do this roof for $20, he's like, we'll give you the cost of the roof skin. The roof skin costs $1,200. And I said, dude, you can give me the cost of the roof skin to buy the roof skin and put it on the roof and paint it for $2,700, but you're not going to pay me the price of the panel. And I mean, this was the craziest conversation I had. And he was acting like I was trying to get over on him. And I'm looking at him like, dude, you just agreed that this is the price for this many dents. This is the price for this many oversized dents. We put the two prices together, and this is the amount we came up with. And now you're telling me you only want to pay me $500 less, man. You guys are the ones that are trying to get over on me. So finally, he got defensive, and he said, well, I'd have to take this back to my boss. I mean, we're not trying to we're not trying to screw you. I'm like, how are you not trying to screw me over? I'm telling you that this is the price for the panel. You agree. This is the price for the oversized dents. You agree. It's less than the replacement cost. You agree. How are you not trying to screw me over right now? You guys are trying to give me the shaft. And, he says, oh, no. I'm like, dude, do we have to? We went over this like 5 or 6 times in here. And finally, he went back to his boss. And I said, you guys write it up for $1,200. I'm telling you right now, you guys are going to get a supplement to paint the roof, and we're going to start ripping it off. So your customer's car is going to be sitting here with a roof tore off the top. That's what's going to happen. I said, have your boss call me. Have him call me today, man. You guys are not going to do this to me. And I about had to get the customer involved, but it was towards the end of that day, his boss called me and claimed he had been doing it for 30 years and had never seen a $1,700 roof.
Well, I will say that every year the prices do seem to get higher and higher. I remember back in 2003, or 2001 rather, when I was training, Randy Hukkinen took me outside and said, how much to fix this roof? It was a green Pontiac Bonneville. And I've been watching them for 6 months. I looked at it. It wasn't bad. It's probably a $900 roof. And I said, $400. She's like, yeah, right on the money. And, it wasn't a hit roof, but I don't know if people are starting to use upcharges more. I think the oversize is a huge factor.
Huge.
But the prices seem to be going up every year with the same matrix because people are being educated on our end. What is an oversize? What is double paneled? It's not just a Honda Accord roof. It could be a deck lid.
Yeah. So
with the prices going higher and higher, you take a roof where the prices are the highest panels on the matrix, and you're going to see a guy really might not have seen a $1,700 roof. I remember back in the early 2000s, we were getting $1,200 on a roof. We had the jackpot.
Oh,
there was no oversized, no double panel.
So,
all those.
But here's the
things.
thing, Hampton. He dealt with Dayton, Ohio, and Joe Thompson can agree with me here, dude. He went through Dayton, Ohio in 2011. This guy's seen a $1,700 roof in Dayton, Ohio, 2011.
Yeah.
If you can hear me there, Thompson, you know you
Well,
worked that storm.
Derek Osborne just said prices are getting higher because shop fees are going up. And that's another point that we were making earlier, which is another reason we started this specific blab. So prices are going higher and higher because guys are looking, they're educating themselves on the right tools. But now with the percentages going up higher at the shops, they're educating themselves even more. They're looking at this roof saying, there's got to be something else. And they'll drop that light and I'm not saying they're going to put dents in it or make some bigger, which is stupid. Everybody knows I'm fully against that. That's the dumbest thing you could do. But they will inspect that roof a lot harder and find every single markup they can. And that's a legitimate estimate. But when you're working for 49% of the ticket versus 65% of the ticket, when you're at 65%, when you're negotiating, Keith Cosentino did a podcast yesterday. And he was negotiating with an insurance adjuster, and he negotiated. He gave up a couple $100 here and there. You can do that because it's his company. He's getting the whole ticket. When you're at 49%, you can't afford to give up anything because every dollar matters. So, there's a fine line between what is getting kicked and what the percentage is that the body shop's getting. That's a huge factor there.
Right.
So yeah, Derek. Hey. Can we get Derek on here to somebody? Jesse, can I pull you for a minute and put Derek up? Okay, and stay on here. We'll get you back on in a little bit.
In all honesty, Hampton, to go back to what you were just saying right there, that's the great part about owning your own shop, man, because these prices, we've learned over time how to get the prices way up. And now when a customer comes into my shop, I'm able to receive it all. You're almost like you're getting paid for double. Which is why I'm encouraging people, especially route techs, if you get hail once a year like I do, I can pay for this shop in supplements alone because before I had a shop, where am I going to supplement the car? Out of my garage? At home? I would have to pay a body shop. I'd have to bring it to a body shop. It's almost worth it. This location I have right here is $1,400. Now, granted, I got another location behind us that's another $850 a month. But when I just had this location at $1,400 a month with just the hail supplements alone, in maybe 2 weeks, I could pay for this shop for an entire year.
Supplements are important. Most of your insurance estimates are written a little, maybe not intentionally, but they're written low if they don't see everything that you see. If you go to CarStars, if you look at their supplement sheets, well, I don't know if they still use paper. Back when I worked there, they had all their supplement sheets were written on gold paper because that's gold. Yeah. You're leaving money on the table.
Right.
So
right.
They're important too. So diminished value, back to that. You say you've done it a lot. Has it helped you? Has it been a good selling point when you're, or let me rephrase your question.
To be honest with you, let me tell you something, Hampton. Most of the customers that come in here, they don't want their paint repair work done. You know what I mean? They don't want paint repair work done. So most of the time, it doesn't even need to be sold on a customer level per se. Okay. Right. Again, insurance companies, you're going to find ones that want it, ones that don't. But on a customer level, most customers that come in here, they have some sort of fear of a body shop because
that's why they're coming to you already.
Right.
They know.
Right. And see, that's why, people ask me why don't you go out there and advertise that you're a body shop? I don't want to advertise as I'm a body shop because I want people to come see me to hope to get it done with paintless dent removal. And if we can't, we have an alternative method. And my alternative method is body repair. But once they get in here and see how easygoing our shop is, how quick the estimate process is, they want to do the paint repair, as well. Okay. Because you walk into a normal body shop, you got to sit down at the desk, you got to write down. They always push you insurance. I'm the opposite. I want to say, let's think about this. Let's not file an insurance claim if we don't have to. If we do, we can handle that. But let's try not to because, maybe some of this damage that, these body shops are writing, you wouldn't believe what they write to replace a door skin. These are little dents in our world nowadays that can be fixed and they got a little scratch on them. We can keep away from blending the two adjacent panels effectively. Look, we're not cheaper, but we're doing less work. So we're taking some job that might have been the whole side of their car and we're reducing it just by fixing the dent to the little scratch that's on there to the center of the door panel so we don't have any blend panels. So,
Right.
they might go to a body shop and get an estimate for, $1,500 to paint the side of their car, but we might only be painting one panel, do just as, in fact, a better job by fixing the dent and just painting the one panel. And we might be able to do that for 700. And then at that point,
So
most
flip the
people,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
When you're doing that, they're coming to you because they are already educated on the fact that they don't want paint work on their car. You advertise as paintless dent repair and not a body shop. If you have a body shop that you do subcontracted work for, do you have more of an issue getting those numbers if you're going through a body shop? I mean, does a body shop stand up for you if they're talking the same scenarios, PDR versus conventional, or are they just more apt to say, we're just going to paint it?
Yeah, they would be more apt to say that we're just going to go ahead and paint it unless they know the customer, or they like the person, or it's some sort of situation to where, they were going to stop the car from being totaled. So there's different situations where they would want to implement paintless dent removal. But a lot of times that's their bread and butter. I mean, they got a shop full of, most body shops just got tons of employees running around there. And in all honesty, they're not making it near as much in a lot of industries. They're really not. I mean, I've seen this firsthand doing insurance work. And they're making money, but they're not making it hand over fist like they may have used. I mean, $40-some an hour, and mechanics are getting paid $100 an hour.
Yeah.
And body guys are getting 46 an hour, and then half of that goes to the body guy.
Repairs. If you're getting front end alignment at a body shop, you're $40. Take it down the road, it's $100. It's $100
at a mechanic. Isn't it amazing? Like, mechanics are still in the free market system. I mean, you blow your engine. Look, you only got one choice: take money out of your pocket and pay for it, or trash the car. There's two choices there. Because the insurance companies haven't driven them down and beat them down to a pulp. Insurance company is like,
you're not going to make a claim. So, or if it is, it's your warranty company and they recommend a mechanic and they don't dictate pricing.
Well, see, insurance is a lot like a form of socialism per se. Okay, where everybody chips in a little bit and it gets dispersed, unevenly or whatever to the worst people that, what I mean, and they get the most, or whatever you want to call it. Like the people are the worst drivers get the most per se, and everybody has to pay the ticket and all this kind of stuff, and then they get central control. Kind of like the government's probably going to take a hold of our healthcare system. And, they're going to drive down the prices in the health system and stuff like that. They're going to be dealing with that in the future, which in turn is going to drive down the incentive to, search out new procedures and things like that, making the entire system get worse and worse and worse. And, we've probably seen a little bit of that in the body shop industry. Well, I'll tell you, we got a high-end body shop that gives us all of their PDR business, and they're right near our shop over here. And he told me, he's like, John, he goes, there's only so much you can do for the amount the insurance company's willing to pay, number one. And number two, you get in bed with an insurance company. Okay, here's the problem. They can look at you, Ryan Hampton. They can say, do this scrupulous repair on this car. Oh, we'll fix it. You're saying the frame is cracked or something. No, we can fix it. They can tell you that you have to fix it. Okay. Now what happens is, because you've been ICAR certified, you get all these certifications. Okay. That keeps them out of their liability. You're certified, right?
Yep.
You fix it under their thumb, under their pressure. If you don't, they take away your business. They take away your cars. Okay.
And if it comes back, it's your responsibility.
If it comes back, it's your responsibility. It's your butt on the line. And
so what's happening
nearly
here,
criminal.
You've got the body shop involved. You've got an insurance company involved, a paintless dent repair company involved, the customer, and then you've got the vehicle itself. And out of all those things, the one item that should be given the highest focus is the vehicle. I mean, the customer too, but what is best for the vehicle should always be the number one factor in making decisions on repairs, and it's not even close. The car is just a pawn in the game of saving money. And you can't blame the insurance companies. They're in business for themselves, but at the same time, you have to do what's in the best interest of the vehicle being repaired, especially when you're talking a thing that people put their kids in the back seat. This is a missile going down the road, and safety concerns are one thing when it comes to major body shop damage. But on our end, it's diminished value, and you never see it in the mainstream conversations about that being a factor when you're talking PDR versus conventional when the numbers are really close. And I think it really should be.
Well, and the thing is, Ryan, you don't want to say that in a body shop scenario. So you're working in a body shop. You don't want the body shop to hear you talking to an adjuster and saying, if these guys paint it, they're going to lose the value, because nobody wants to, they don't look
saying
at
all their cars are like
yeah,
that.
they're
Every
saying,
car,
so our work's not good enough. I lost the value. For instance, a buddy of mine, Dusty, came and worked for me in 2011. Okay. And he's down the road at the Ford dealership. All right. And these cars were slammed. I mean, Joe Thompson can give you the indication. I don't know if you were in Dayton. These cars were slammed. And so he's quoting some of these Fords. He's in the body shop, in the Ford body shop, and he's quoting some of them at like $400 for a side panel. And they looked at him and said, well, we can mud it for that, right? And he looked at him and said, but that's not a good repair. And they looked back at him and they said, are you saying that our repairs aren't good? So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he was at a loss. He was
there's a difference between saying if you get a front end hit with a deer, and it's blown the hood up, the grill smashed, needs two fenders. Is paintless dent repair a better repair? Sure it is, but is it an option? No. So now you take PDR out of the equation. The conventional repair is the single best option for that car. It really is. So,
Right.
But if it's PDRable,
Right.
then you've added another option. So it's something that's not there on everything else. And I think the trick is.
I think you're frozen, buddy. Either I'm frozen or you're frozen.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a phone call
Was he
coming up.
frozen or was I frozen, Joe?
No, that was me.
He was frozen.
He was frozen.
So you need to talk with the body shops. But at the end of the day, all of these factors put aside, diminished value should be something that you consider when you're fixing damage that's borderline conventional prices or above it. And I really like to see the insurance companies understanding that as well.
And that's where it comes back to educating your body shops when it comes to that. Like I did that storm with John and that year, some of that stuff, that side damage, that's where I put my first rail at $850. Or the doors on some of them Subarus, we did the Subaru dealership, $650 on a door. Well, they couldn't replace them for that.
Right.
And I educated them. They were like, okay, you can have that done in a day. Yeah, we can have it done in a day and not 3 weeks from now when you're going to do it. You don't devalue their work, but you educate them, stating with what we do can make your work a lot easier.
Well, and the thing that we didn't have to worry about too much during that storm, Joe, which definitely should add to the conversation, is that the body shops there, because that storm was so severe, the body shops were getting, blocked. I mean, their paint bays were eventually, they're just going to, everything in a body shop bottlenecks at the paint bay. Okay. So that's what you got to remember. There's like 5 body repair guys. There's like usually 1 paint bay in most body shops. Bigger body shops have a couple, but it doesn't matter. Every shop bottlenecks at the paint bay. And if you keep sending things to them, it'll get bottlenecked. And next thing you know, you're going to find yourself doing some ridiculously hard hit roofs and stuff like that, doing push to paints, doing anything you can to stop that bottlenecking. Because once that bottlenecks, the problem with that is that they stop scheduling work. And you end up sitting there with your thumb up your rear, because you allowed that shop. So part of our things as a PDR technician is we almost got to watch over their flow. Like, I'll take care of this because I don't want to be bottlenecked. And, it's an interesting dynamic when you really get into a shop and you work it that way.
Like you said, watching that, you have to watch that, because come the next storm, that can affect them calling you back. We don't want these guys, sat and kicked every panel, which bottleneck, like you said, bottleneck the shop. You got to watch their flow. And I think being part of a body shop, like we said, like I was for 25 years with my parents, that helps. Guys in that industry know what has to get done to make a body shop flow. But you really got to watch your shops.
It makes me wonder, even though insurance companies don't come out of the gate and say, okay, John, $2,000 roof conventional, you got it at 22. You got diminished value here, so we're going to give you the $2,200. Just fix it right. They're not going to come out and say that, but they've all heard it. If we've heard it, they've heard it. And then this Billy guy who has a company that specializes in getting customers that money back after an accident. I wonder if there is a formula that they already have in their system that says, X amount of damage, you know, a $3,000 repair on a frame rail, you can add 17% diminished value and cut that person back in. What's up, Derek? So do you think they have something like that in place?
How you doing, Derek?
Like an algorithm? Did you hear the question?
I heard him a little bit.
No, as far as diminished value, do you think the insurance companies have an algorithm in place that says
here's what
what it should be?
No, look, they could, but here's what I honestly think it breaks down to. So we got Allstate agent in here, right? After he writes his estimate, he's got to go back to his manager, and he's got to hand that manager that estimate, and that manager is going to do an audit of his estimate. And if he went over on the value of a panel, his butt's going to be on the line. So he's going to fight and do everything he can to stay away from that. Other insurance companies will go for it. You know, I think you got to catch them in the right mood. You got to catch the right person. If you're at somebody at the bottom of the chain level and they got to bring it up to their lead, you know, their authority figure, and they bring it to their authority figure, and then he says, "Man," he says, "What? You paid more than what it cost to paint a roof? Are you kidding me?" You know, that's a problem. The guy's job is in line. So what I found is, believe it or not, I found this happen in my situation, Hampton, is where they actually take the estimate and they write other stuff on it. So they look at like literally, I can't tell you how many times they came into my shop and they said, "Okay, you got a $5,600 estimate here." And they go in,
move numbers around.
They move numbers around. I'm not kidding you, I had State Farm buy a set of airbags and put it on an estimate. A set of curtain airbags to add $600 to the estimate. Wasn't in my estimate, but when it came back.
See, for me, I've seen that happen. I've had adjusters tell me, "All right, you're $200 higher than I can go on that hood. How about we put $100 more in each door?" And I just tell them no, because here's the problem with that. If something comes back down the road, I mean, they could even add R&I sunroof, okay? And you're like, "Okay, I'll take the extra 4 hours at $50 an hour. Perfect. We got the number." Now the customer leaves. 6 months later, the sunroof's leaking. You're going to get a phone call, and now you're going to be having to, you know, either clean up on the inside of the vehicle, anything, no matter what it is. If I'm not doing the repair, I don't want that money. I try to keep it as honest and fair across the board, and I'll tell them, don't give me that money. Because it can become a big, and it's not fraud, I don't guess, but it's still, you know what? It's $200. If you're going to pay it, just pay it on the hood. Don't make me feel like I'm doing something wrong here.
Let me tell you what I do. I just say, "You know what? I understand that you're giving me this estimate. That's fine, but I'm going to call the customer and let them know that we're going off my estimate. They matched it by doing this, and we're using the estimate that I wrote. These are the procedures that are being done. If he added an extra this and that on there, that's on them." You know, maybe I think contacting the customer would be a fair way to do, and say, "Hey, let me fax you over my estimate. The insurance company wrote something different, but they're just trying to match my estimate, okay?" Because they're trying to make it work.
And keep the people up top giving them.
I'm not doing this off their estimate. So I'm doing it off mine because I believe this is what's right for your car. I don't believe that taking apart your sunroof is right for your car. So, you know, I think at that point, getting a customer involved just by giving them a courtesy call would be a way to just kind of waive the whole situation and make them sign. Maybe have a signature at the bottom of your estimate when they come that states that, you know, that you did the repairs on your estimate, not State Farm's per se.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of right in line when you're working with the body shop and they get a car come in that says replace the hood, and you've got $1,200 on that hood, and they've got replacement for $700, blend time, R&I, emblems, and it comes to $1,180. I'll make on my invoice, I'll write $1,180, and it'll show conversion for all the intangibles. But my bill to the body shop shows that I didn't necessarily do all that. I charged you $1,180 to PDR it. And usually the customer has to know that. And if the insurance company has a problem, then they can go to the body shop, because that's, you know, at that point it's there. But you never want to charge. You know, there's a guy out there, Brandon Leeds, that guy that's fighting for that deal in California right now.
Okay.
I believe, I don't know, and I'm not going to go on the record and saying this is a fact, but I have a feeling from the small pieces of information I heard, that's probably what happened out there. Is he was taking repair times and part times and converting them to PDR. And he may have even been given the customer the invoice like what you just said. I don't know, but I know something happened there along those lines. Do you know something about that, Derek?
I sat and talked to the guy down at the Mobile Tech, and I agree. There's more to it than what all of us know. And I have my speculation what went on because I do a lot of retail shops on the road, and I know the games that take place. Yes, something stinks on that end. He pissed off a lot of local body shops by setting up in that area too, and I think he had a bunch of those guys crawling up the officials' asses there, and he did one wrong car the wrong way probably, and that's what got him in a pickle. But yeah, that deal's funky. It's going to be real interesting what happens there.
Yeah, you got to keep your paperwork. I mean, for me, my paperwork, I don't do anything. I live my life, personal life and business life, like I'm on camera. And dude, I've been around shops before. You got 4 nickels on a fender, and the guy will say, a good guy, put a nickel or put one dent in that fender. Hell no, dude. I am not doing that. For me, 1 nickel is not worth my reputation. Now, the chances of somebody actually seeing you do that, come on. But if you do it once, you're going to be tempted to do it again, and don't do it. So all my ducks are in a row. I sleep well at night, and that guy, whatever he did, he probably did something that I would have never done. Who knows? But you cannot justify, a price on a panel by moving numbers around. At least I don't. And if I do, I bill, like John said, bill the customer for exactly what I do, whether it's the body shop or the customer or the dealership.
Right.
You bill them for what you did. The deal between them and their insurance company is up to them, but you bill them for what you did.
I ran into that gentleman out at the Mobile Tech Expo, but because I don't follow much, Michael Bach had introduced me to him, I think.
Yeah.
And he was walking around with him up there at the hotel bar one night, and he told me that he said something like, he walked up to me and said, "This is the guy that got some sort of fraud charges or something to that nature." I can't remember what the charges were pressed against him, but I still, to this day, I don't even know where that article is. I haven't read the story. I haven't heard the story. And to be honest with you, I was kind of just like I just felt like somebody just walked up to me and introduced me to somebody who was going through some sort of criminal case. And I really didn't know any back end of it. Is this something that was talked about on Facebook? Is that what happened?
Well, it came out, somebody posted the link to the Sacramento Bee, the newspaper out there, and I saw it, and I put it in a group and saying, anybody know what's going on with this? And then there was evidently already conversations going on. I was late to the party. I didn't see it, but it made the news out there. And from what I gathered, there was a body shop owner. This is in an area that doesn't get hail. So, I mean, as a body shop owner, if I own a body shop in this town and I see hail, that's my lottery ticket. Legitimately so. This is what I do. I'm going to make money. And then you got guys coming in and setting up, doing paintless dent repair. Now, as much as that sucks for me, it doesn't mean I'm going to go out there and, try to get the guy kicked out of the storm, which that could have been part of it too. But I think there's a little bit of an upset body shop or more, and a guy probably doing something not right that the body shops picked up on and said, that's exactly what we need. Because they press charges on this guy. Now, you're not going to press charges unless you've got hard evidence.
Right.
Oh, this guy's in. I sat there with him and Tom Price for a good hour and a half reading court documents. I mean, these guys are after him to cut his balls off. I mean, no offense, I hope I'm not offending anybody in this group, but they're coming full throttle at him. I mean, the state's on him, the insurance board's on him, and he set up right next door to a body shop that he got cut out of when he first got into that town. So he was the only guy set up in that entire town doing work on the street.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, what do you expect the people to say or react?
I mean, you better have everything documented. I mean, you guys all do the same stuff I do. You gotta have those right authorization forms. You better have a good receipt, a good sign-off policy when the car's done and delivered, and if you don't, you're going to get burnt quick.
Yeah, there's
Unless
some
you're in El
common
Paso.
sense there too. I mean, even if he's doing 100% correct, if you go down to Mississippi and you go setting up a bar in Deliverance Town, and they're like, "Boy, you ain't from around here," you can stand your ground and say, "I'm supposed to be here. I have a right, but not me. I'm leaving Deliverance right away. Right or wrong, you're still going to probably get in trouble." So I'm out of here. I'm not Warren Beatty.
Exactly. Exactly. That's one reason I don't like setting up in these small towns. I did a town last year in Kentucky of 5,000 people, and I was ready to put a rusty pitchfork in my eyeball.
Wow.
It was brutal. It was just brutal.
See, I've always stayed away from retail, but Joe Thompson just asked, what did this guy do? He went to a town in California where there was hail, tried to get into a body shop. This is all hearsay. It's not facts. Don't hold me to it.
Right.
He didn't get into the shop, set up a retail location. The body shop was not happy about it, evidently. They started probing. Insurance companies were coming in there, writing cars for conventional. He was still fixing them PDR because in his eyes, he doesn't care. This is what he should have done, given the customer his estimate based on what he did. And he must have made a mistake or a misstep at some point, or it's just a small town and everybody's ganging up on him and not counting on him fighting the battle that he could fight. We don't really know. This is all the information we got.
Hampton, that's a learning experience for all of us, though. So, I mean, talking about this is a really good learning experience. Like I said, when you take something bad and you can at least turn it into something good for the folks that aren't involved. I don't know what he was doing, but this basically says that you're out there, you're in the field, and you want to set up a retail location in a town. You better get a local attorney on your side and have him go over and make sure, you know what I mean? Hey, the guy was the only, like you guys said, the guy was the only person in that town. He must have been making some money. I mean, he could afford he could afford to get an attorney in there. Say, I would have had that man. I would have found me a 3-year attorney and had him in there freaking writing estimates for me.
Yeah, I would have had the fire marshal in there. I would have had my occupancy permit. I would have had a business license. I would have made sure all my sign permits. I would have crossed all my T's, dotted all my I's. But the moment I started hearing about another guy trying to take me to court or throw me out, I would have taken a serious look at that and approached that body shop and said, hey, I've got everything that I need to be legal here. I know you're not happy about me being here. What can we do? At least, you don't want to do it, but this isn't a good example of why maybe you should always exhaust all your options because you never know. But he shouldn't have to. But it sounds like he should have right there.
Right. Well, this is – go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
How does he get it for fraud? Because if a body shop says, okay, they bring a car and the roof's got to be replaced, an insurance company writes it to replace, but you go ahead and repair it, that's not fraud on your part. If your customer says, yeah, go ahead and replace it PDR, fix it PDR, you still get the money that the insurance company wrote it for. So that's not fraud on his part. If he converted it over to his company, they wrote it for that, so how is it fraud on his part?
Here's the problem. Did the customer authorize the hood, for example? Did the customer authorize the hood to be done through PDR versus paint? I can tell you the conversation I had with the young man, there wasn't even authorization forms getting signed when a customer was dropping a car off at the shop. So I guess that kind of would answer our question.
Okay, so that's what he did, is he didn't get the customer's authorization, and that's why he's in trouble.
Right.
That's from what my understanding,
I remember
that's just part of it.
Back in the day, early 2000s again, when State Farm and a lot of the other insurance companies were not even writing PDR yet, the common practice was, and everybody knew it, was if you get a conventional estimate for $3,000 and you're going to paintless dent repair it, you don't cash that check. You give the customer, say, that's your check. Here's my bill for $3,000 for PDR. You take that check, you deposit it, have your lien holder sign off on it. You write me a check for what I did. I'm not writing for paint work. I don't do paint work, and it's your prerogative. And I don't know if that still hold up, but it seems like that would be the right thing to do. So maybe that guy out there deposited an insurance check that was written for conventional.
The biggest problem I see with that, Ryan, is that you'd have to hang on to the car for so long to get a customer to cash it, to have the money to write the check, to get it out,
True.
Things like that.
Well, there
I
was
think
some trust going on back then.
the authorization needs to come from the insurance company when you have the car. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So,
Well, that's what we're talking about. It needs to be done to where even if it is written for conventional and ours is higher, it still needs to be accepted by the insurance company. So
That's
they
painless.
do pay us for
Right.
the correct repairs,
Okay.
which is where diminished value conversations, if they don't accept that, then you're going to have a hard time getting that.
You know what though? We're actually reaching, in my opinion, a new bridge of education in this industry. Okay, so we went from the point to where I'm going to be honest with you guys. Back before I was well connected with people and knew a bunch of technicians, I mean, I was driving around and somebody have an insurance car, I just go do the repair. I mean, they'd have an insurance check. They had the money. This is what the insurance company paid me. I just do the car. I mean, that's what we did back in the day. We didn't know about supplements. I didn't know anything like that. So now we're getting to the point where we know about supplements, okay? We know about getting the right amount. We know how to write a proper estimate. Now we need to become legitimate businesses. You know what I mean? That know
in reality,
right and
the
wrong.
insurance company, I mean, it's never going to be like this, but in reality, if somebody has a claim on their insurance, whether it's their medical, their house, or their car or anything, that's none of our business. I'm Ryan's Dent Repair. You're coming to me for your car. Here's what my estimate is. You deal with the insurance company. That's how it should be, but it's not.
Right,
The insurance company has stuck their toes in that field, in that operation for many, many years. So it's just how it is. But in reality, it's a transaction between you and the customer. And the fact that the insurance company is involved is what's making it difficult to do it right.
And the truth is, and in this day and age, being a company like us, we have to know how to deal with insurance companies because we're taking that burden off the customer's shoulders. So,
Sure.
that's one of the reasons we get paid what we do is because we're willing to lift a burden that drives them. That's why, like I said, if somebody has a claim number, I said, I don't care what your insurance company told you. You got a claim number, bring it in. Okay, they tell you to go get 3 estimates. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Go get 3 estimates. Who does that? Yeah,
misinformed.
Right. But insurance companies are still telling people that. Go get 3 estimates. Like,
All
you
about
really
saving
got to
money.
walk in and get 3 estimates? No, bring the claim. Get the car over here. I'll have it R&I'd right now. You know what I mean? I'll get the ball rolling. I'll have it stripped down, sitting in my shop, and I'm going to send the claim over and say, get out here. We're going to look at this industry standard matrix, and we're going to figure it out, and it works every time.
There's a proper way for it to all go between the body shops, the insurance companies, and the PDR companies. We're willing to work with them and do, if that's just their standard protocol, that's fine. But it's when it gets to the point of ridiculous inflated facility fees and them not understanding the value of our craft, that's where we have issues. We're not saying screw the insurance companies or screw the body shops. We're saying,
Right.
hey, we're separated ourselves from the rest of the industry. We're legitimate companies. We can do a better repair on stuff that normally can't be done. Return that favor of being professional and understand our value. Don't try to take 50% of a hail claim. Don't try to tell us that we can't pay you $1,700 on a roof, even if the replacement value is $2,700. We're just saying be fair. But the problem is, how do they know? How does an insurance company know that John Hiley or Derek Osborne or Joe Thompson are a legitimate business? That's the problem you're running into. They see so many thousands of PDR companies, and you got to admit our industry's background and our history isn't the best. There's some shady things that have gone in the past, and you can't blame them for being gun shy. Yeah. So it's up to us to professionalize ourselves and get our name out.
All right, man, I'm good. I'm back. Just kidding.
So there's a fine line there.
Oh, hold on. Let me chop up another one real quick.
That's awesome.
Hold on, guys.
Yep. Hey, babe, bring me my bong. Bring me my bong and my good stuff. That was normal. We have some mutual friends, John.
Yeah.
You got to remember the last 20 years, you take the cat adjusters that have been around chasing hail for years, and when they come into your shop and they see you being professional, you look good, you ask them, say, they have a history of walking into these hole-in-the-wall places that doesn't even have heat in October. The guy's wearing his AC/DC shirt, it smells like weed in there. That's just, a guy told me a long time ago, everybody, man, has a drinking problem or a drug problem. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's the perception. That's the perception that they have. So what is the perception of PDR? That's what we gotta fight. And, that's a tough battle, but we have to gain their trust before they start, taking the next step and allowing diminished value, understanding our value. So we're not trying to, separate ourselves from body shops and insurance companies. We're just saying, take a look at us and understand there's a value there and, pay us correctly.
Right.
You get what you pay for. Another thing I heard, you tell them, would you rather do business with a great price with a fair company, or would you rather do business with a great company at a fair price? It's not always price. It's value that we bring to the table.
Right.
But how do you get there? How do you get, I hate to plug PDR Nation. Well, I don't hate to. It's fair. That's what it started off as. If insurance companies really start going to regional PDR companies for small repairs, hail damage repairs, how are they going to know who to go to? And the way to do that is to separate yourself. And that was the whole behind PDR Nation. It may not be there now, but in 5-6 years, if all of these insurance companies are going direct to PDR, who are you going to go to in Dayton? Who are you going to go in Cincinnati or Columbus? Who do you know? I don't know anybody in a lot of towns, but I know Derek, I know John, but they don't know you. So we need to simulate what we already know and show them. And that was the hope behind it.
Right.
Joe's got to take off. Thanks, Joe, for everything.
Appreciate it, Joe. Something interesting. Did you see this Periscope I did a little while ago, Ryan? Like earlier today? Did you get a chance to catch that?
No.
You were probably on here. But, I was I was reading something on, I think Dentex Only. It's a Facebook group that we're all a member of here. And so I'm reading this thing, right? And this guy says that this lady, okay, he sets up a shop, like we're talking about, a PDR shop in a town. He's doing hail repair. The next door neighbor lady is a barber shop, okay? He ends up taking care of her car, ends up taking care of her husband's car, and gives them back. Nicest people, And next thing you know, he packs up and he leaves the town a week later. Well, come to find out, they called the insurance company and had his check canceled. Had the check canceled. And he's like going on there. He's asking him like, what the heck, why, what do I do about this? Can I put a lien on the car? Blase this, blase that. And it never occurred to him to have a direction of pay. And that was something that I had to actually talk about. And I want to explain here as well. If you guys are taking in hail damage cars and you want to be able to deliver that car to your customer before the payment is given to you, you have to get a direction of pay when they drop that vehicle off. You have to have it signed. You have to provide it to the insurance company and the adjuster and get approval from that insurance company that they're going to pay you direct. So this guy lost $5,000 from a couple that had a local business there that seemed to be nice. The people that seemed to be good people. Well, they were good people until, they realized they could get $5,000 and cut him out of his pay. And you know what their excuse was? It shouldn't have cost us $5,000 to get all them little dents out of our car.
Really?
That was his story. That was their excuse. And
they don't understand the value.
Yeah, right. So they don't understand that they understood the value, Ryan. They just didn't want to pay him when they found out a way to get the money back, And I was telling people on this Periscope, I'm like, people who steal from you will mentally justify why they did it. They will. It is known like criminals in prison who steal from people or who have went in there from robbery to anything, justify what they've done to their victims to be able to live with themselves. And
they're not honest with themselves. They're trying to get over on you. They're going to justify
justify it in their mind. They're going to say, he shouldn't have charged our insurance company that much to fix, so we deserve the money. Okay. But
yeah, he only spent 6 hours.
Yeah, but don't. This is just a call for everybody out there. If you guys are looking for a direction of pay, you guys don't have one, a sheet, you can Google on the internet and find direct to pay sheets. Make sure it's in coordinates with the law that the state that you're working in at the time, but you can find them. You can get out there and you can get one for your company, and you have to have them when people are dropping off their car nowadays. And the insurance companies are getting really bad at paying now. So I deal with it on the body shop level. I'm constantly pulling my beard out, physically pulling my beard out because of these insurance companies and not sending checks when they're supposed to. I had an insurance company guarantee they were going to send me the check from a customer, and we picked up her car early, didn't have a direction to pay, didn't follow my own advice that I'm giving right here. But they sent the check to her even after they guaranteed it was coming to me. I called the adjuster, and he was ecstatic. Wow. He was like, wow. He goes, this affects me. So the adjuster got on the horn, and he fixed it. And I was lucky at that time. But you know what? That was a wake-up call. And this should be a wake-up call to all you guys out there. If you're out there doing business, you have to have a direction to pay when they drop off that vehicle. That basically states the insurance company is going to pay you for any supplements on that vehicle.
So is Paul Cordon still in here? I don't even know how to say his last name. Is it Cordon or Cordon?
I think it's Cordon, like blue Cordon, Paul Cordon.
Chicken Cordon Bleu. If he's in here, I'd like to get him on because I know he sells a lot of big dents higher than the price of conventional repair. I'm wondering if he uses diminished value. He's probably working. So, Derek, do you have a direction to pay that you use also?
Oh yeah. We they sign their life away whenever they drop their car off to us. I mean, it's I mean, I don't know what other way to put it, but yeah, I mean, direction of pay. There's also a power attorney on there. I mean, and quite frankly, we got it from a big body shop chain in Ohio. I basically mocked theirs and put my name on it and called my attorney and said, "Hey, what do you think?" He goes, "Man, you're pretty smart. You copied off somebody." So, yeah, that's what we do. And then, of course, when they pick up the car, we have them sign the releases. Car looks great, blah, blah, blah. And they'll pay in full. So I've never had a problem not getting paid off a customer. And I've worked in El Paso, everywhere. And you name it, I've been there, and I've never had a problem.
What about body shops? Do you have anything, if you're working with a body shop, do you have any paperwork other than just your invoices? You don't really need it, do you?
I'll be honest with you guys. I'm kind of old school. I do the handshake deal. I don't.
Yep.
That's the way I do. I got a copy of several large companies, much larger than all of us, of their contracts that they use with body shops, including DentSmart. Actually, I got a copy of theirs too. And I'm not into contracts. You got to prove it to yourself. You got to prove to them you're going to work out and everything's going to be great. And I tell you what, I had two big body shops in Boston. We just wrapped up this week, and my guys came back and they're like, "Man, those guys love us. We're like family." And one shop owes us $30,000, and I'll have that money next week.
Good. Yeah, there's a lot to be said. A lot of those contracts.
Good.
A lot of those contracts are too wordy. They say, "You will pay us. You will do this. You will do that," and it doesn't say enough of the services that you're going to offer. So I do have a contract for body shops and dealers. Usually it's a gut feeling of whether I want to pursue it or how hard. But when they see it, it also says not only will you pay us correctly, which you have to say it whether they like, but it also says these are the services that we're going to provide for you. It shows our value in the contract, not just. I hate the contracts that are just worded so much, because if they were to make their own contract saying, "Hey, we got a contract we want you to sign as our PDR company," it's going to say, "You will do this and you will do that and you will do this and we expect that and then we'll pay you." Where ours says, "You're going to pay us," and doesn't really say what we're going to do. So my contracts are a little bit easier on the eye, and I have good luck in getting them signed, but some of them don't want to. But no direction of pay.
They need to be two-way. It has to be a two-way street in these contracts, and that's my biggest problem with them, is they're always one way, and maybe I trust people too much.
It scares them.
It does. It scares. I mean, think about it. I worked for the Wiz. Now, and I know now. I mean, hell, if someone put that contract in front of me, I'd be scared out of my mind.
Yeah. It looks like you're giving blood. I mean, you're signing away your children if you screw
bad.
up. You know, they might have, even if they have every intention of paying you. They have every intention of doing everything. They trust you. They see that piece of paper. Yeah, you know what? Let me think about it. You can lose a deal over it. So you got to make a judgment call, but you got to protect yourself too. But as far as other forms, there's really no need for a direction of pay in a body shop if they're the ones that are collecting the money and paying you.
And you know, Ryan, I want to send out a recommendation as well for the technicians and the guys out there. Okay, you know, back in 2000, I want to say, what was that? 2006. I got screwed out of about a little over $10,000. Okay, and I would go back and reflect of what I could have done if I would have known then what I know now. Okay, and one of the things I want technicians to remember and do when you get into a shop. Okay, so for instance, here was the scenario. Okay, I had a company that brought me into the shop, and then here's the body shop, stand-up body shop, good body shop. Company brings me in, so he's the broker, he's the middleman, and I'm a technician. Okay, and I left the storm. They owed me about $10,000. Long story short, I didn't get my money, but he got paid from the body shop. So the body shop paid him, but he did not pay me. Now, here's what I want everybody to keep in mind. When you're working inside, whether you're working inside a body shop, you're working for somebody else in a body shop, keep records of the cars that you do with the customer's names and address, the people that actually own the vehicle. Because I'm telling you, the claim number. Because I'm telling you, that might be your last line of resource. If I guarantee you this, okay, because I know this body shop still owed that broker money, okay, when he was screwing me out of all this money. If I would have went to that big body shop and said, hey guys, this guy's not paying me. I know the cars that he owes me on. I'm having my attorney send letters to these customers, threatening them to take their vehicle or whatever he's got to do. Just send some nasty letters to your customers, threatening your reputation. They would have cut him off like cinch on a hose. And I would have cinched his hose to pay me. You know, I would have had an opportunity to at least, if anything, pick up the phone and call the customer and say, hey, I want to let you know, I was working for this body shop and they hired a really bad company and I'm the one who done the work on your car. And I just want to let you know that I'm not being paid for it. And you guys might be in a lawsuit or something like that I'm going to have to file. And I just want to warn you and let you guys know, do it out of the goodness of your heart. Because they deserve to know that. The person who owns the vehicle deserves to know that the person who worked on it didn't get paid. And literally, it's a loaded gun that you have. That if that broker or that body shop doesn't pay you, if they care about their reputation, they're not going to want a bunch of letters coming from an attorney that are scary to their customer base.
You can even take pictures of the body shop estimate. We had a body shop in Quincy, Illinois this year not pay us on the last car. And after 2 months, I called him after emails that weren't being responded. He said, man, we had problems with this rail. There were spots that needed – he was full of shit. I ain't going to lie to you. So we use electronic billing. And it had, when we do our electronic billing, you could set it to mandatory information. And I have it set to you cannot create the estimate or the invoice unless you have insurance company and the claim number, customer's name and information also. So I told the body shop, hey, I'm going to call Mr. Smith. I've got the claim number right here. And if you don't pay us, then we're going to take it to the next level. And it's like a cat in a bag, dude. He was so pissed, but I got a check literally 2 days later. I got a check in the mail. He was mad about it. He said he wasn't going to pay me, but the check came in the mail. And the same thing goes for brokers. Keep track of your information, not just the cars, but claim numbers and insurance companies and customer names. Just take a picture of the front page of the estimate and put it in a file somewhere. You can even there's so many ways. I've got a Facebook group for so many different things. A lot of them are just me. I'm the only member in there. And I keep track of all my stuff. I can go back in there and cars, conversations that I've had. And, there's so many things you can do, but keep track of your paperwork. So, well, does anybody else want to get on here? I'm probably going to get off soon.
Yeah, I'm good too. I got
talk.
Me too, buddy. I think I'm out.
Okay. Hopefully Anson Roberts gets his Wi-Fi figured out. I'd like to get him on it. He had a lot of good input on this stuff. If you're reading the messages down here about having direction of pay and so forth. So,
nice.
Major. Well, good talking to you, man. And I hope you guys, you and Mr. Toledo, get on here and do some stuff.
We are. We're going to have something similar to this, though, but it's going to be kind of a different platform, ran off of denttrainer.com. You know, we're trying to do more stuff on our stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we're doing some tests to just make it like really, really clean. You know, that's our key.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're going to use it to market your company and your product, which, you know, that's something that you would never see me do on a on a personal level. But no, I'd like to see you guys on here. It'd be good to watch.
Hey, and just a heads up, Hampton, next month I think I got 4 advanced students coming in for training. Very interesting thing. 2 of them are a husband and wife team, and the wife is 6 months pregnant. Now, look, she was pushing dents last year. She was pregnant last year as well, you know, like a back-to-back pregnancy. But she was pregnant last year and pushing dents 8 months pregnant doing hail roofs. They're both 6-7-year technicians. And man, you guys are going to see some stuff come out of that with some videos and things like that because you know, I take everything serious, really taking people to the next level, but I'm going to this is going to be so interesting and so fun to document, you know, a husband and wife team, you know, like that.
And 8 months pregnant.
8 months yeah, 6 months now. 6 months now. So yeah, so that'll be cool. But yeah, it was a pleasure, man. Pleasure. I'm glad you invited me into this app. Does my audio sound good? Do you hear any bad?
It sounds fantastic. I say something earlier about it, but it comes and goes with everybody. The app's got a lot of glitches still.
Right.
But for the most part, it comes in really good.
Okay. So, Cool. Just checking it out. All right.
Good
brother.
You. Look forward to you. And hey, guys, if you see me on here, my name on the screen, do me a favor and follow me. Click on my name, and you can click follow. So when I go live, you'll see it. And same with John.
Follow me.
On John's name. Follow him, and when
you guys know
live,
we're going to.
You'll get notifications. And then share this, if you will. There's a lot of guys out there that want to see this. The more shares we get on this app, the more guys will get on here, and the more everybody can help each other.
A lot of valuable information on this one. Yep, so I appreciate it, Hampton. You the man, buddy. I'll see you.
All right. Thanks, John. See you soon. Bye. I'm going to kick John Hiley off of here. All right. I don't know when the next one like this is going to be. We got the scheduled one for tomorrow or Thursday night with Wade Hartley. That's going to be more like PDR College or Dent Trainer meets Jerry Springer or Howard Stern. So it should be fun. But we're going to be doing a lot more of these things, just random pop-ups because I'm a Hale guy and I'm sitting at home and I'm bored and I love talking. So share this, please. Get the word out to get the app, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.